Hello and welcome to Adventures in Suzuki Parenting. I'm Jody St. Clair, and today we are going to be talking about when should I be practicing with my child. We're going to go over some techniques to help get you thinking outside of the box and see if there are some areas that you haven't explored to see for your daily practice. So, the first thing to think about is what time in the day does my child focus best? This is going to vary depending on your child's age, but for really young children, usually it's in the morning. Um, I say that, and we've never been morning practitioners in my house. We've always practiced in the afternoon. So I think it's just really finding what rhythm works best for your family. But sometimes parents get really kind of stuck in the idea that they should be doing it like around dinner time, and a lot of times that is not the time that works best for your child. So you want to just kind of examine if you're really kind of figuring out a schedule that's going to fit where your child is in that moment. The second thing that we're going to talk about is, should I split my practice up? And I think that we often think of all of the practice happening at one time, but I know for me, I can only practice for a certain amount of time, and then I start to lose focus and it starts to get inefficient. And so it's better for me to split my practice up, at least with a little break in between. I've often had families do a small practice in the morning before they were going wherever they were going for the day, and then one in the afternoon. And so you may find that doing two smaller practices works better, especially when your child is maybe getting very advanced, but they're still young. They're moving into longer pieces, and they're going to be starting but their age is not ready to be doing hours of practice at a time. So you really want to just do smaller chunks and a couple times during the day. For really young children, these small chunks work really well too. Doing 5 or 10 minutes here and then 5 or 10 minutes there is often a better strategy than trying to do it all at once during the day. So the other thing I would like you to think about, the third thing, is if you can tie it to something else that is happening during your day. Forming new habits and creating routines, often it's easier if you tie it to something else that is happening during the day. I've done that in the past for a long time, but I really, when I was listening to the Teach Suzuki podcast, I heard Paula really talk about tying habits to something you're already doing and how successful that can be. And that really resonated with me. I think that's a really fantastic way to go. So if you want, the easiest thing would be to tie it to a meal. But if your child's really young, maybe it's after nap time, after they've kind of woken up for after a little while, and they're kind of refreshed and ready. If it's you're going around your school day, having a good after school routine and knowing kind of where practice is going to fit in, or in your morning routine, knowing where your practice fits in the morning routine. So tying it to something else that happens in your routine. And then the last thing, the fourth thing I'd like you to think about is setting goals. So think about how do you want to set a large goal, like a 100-day practice challenge where you're practicing 100 days in a row? Or maybe you're just setting up your small goals, and we're going to go for every day this week, or we're going to go for 5 days every week. And just kind of having an idea. If you aren't practicing every day, although I do recommend that, I think it's really much easier for young children to just know that they practice every day. It's much easier for grown-ups too. There is no question about it. But if you aren't, then I think having a specific day where you're not, for a long time, we now practice every day, but for a long time in our family, Sunday we just didn't practice. We wanted a day off, and that was the day that made the most sense. And my son knew that that was the day he got off, and that the rest of the days we practiced. So having it be consistent really helps. And then it's also a guilt-free day. I really like to avoid the practice guilt. So if you are taking a day off, enjoy the day. Do not worry about practice, and setting the goal of how many days you're going and when can really make a big difference in of when you should practice. So I hope that gives you some tools to use with your child as you are kind of figuring out, anytime you're into a new season, if it's starting to be summer, or if you're starting to be fall, or you've gotten over the holiday crazies, and it's the new year and you're kind of reassessing where everything fits in. As you go, it'll change, and it's just nice to come back to this over and over again during different parts of the year. And if you find that this video is helpful, and you know somebody else who might need some help with their practice routine or some good suggestions, please share or like this video. You can subscribe to this channel and make sure that you're getting practice tips every week. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Happy practicing.